made a lot of things more concrete for us. And like you were talking about things rolling around in your mind.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is that they keep changing into other things. You got to get it to stop rolling, you know?
And also, we're both feeling types.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, we have feelings 4 times a day, at least, if not more, right?
Oh, at least.
So there's something about the drawing that it takes it into the more tactile and
Yeah.
sensational.
Yeah.
And I don't mean sensational important, I mean sensory.
Right.
Right.
No, right. And your inner kid, I think, is always more responsive to that because it's a kid, you know? Kids can relate to pictures, they can relate to fun, they can...
Well, and that's something that we invite you to think about too. What's working for you, what isn't working. If you've been doing this for the last 6 weeks or however long it is when you're watching this particular part of the classes, really thinking about what works for you, what doesn't, and then mushing it around so that you can use it, you know, to its fullest, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to share with the people who are watching something that, strangely enough, you just were talking about in meditation the other night, but someone had mentioned to me, and I realized that it had so many pieces of wisdom in it that would be supportive of people doing their journaling. And it is Rainer Maria Rilke, is that how you say that? And it's his letter to a young poet, and it's dated February 17th, 1900. And he says, I'm going to read part of it, then maybe you could read part of it, would you?
Sure.
Okay. My dear sir, your letter reached me several days ago. I want to thank you for the deep and moving trust it revealed. I can do no more. I cannot comment on the style of your verses. Critical intent is too far removed from my nature. There is nothing that manages to influence a work of art less than critical words. They always result in more or less unfortunate misunderstandings. Things are not as easily understood nor as expressible as people would like us to believe. Most happenings are beyond expression. They exist where a word has never intruded. Even more inexpressible are works of art. Mysterious entities they are, whose lives, compared to our fleeting ones, endure. Isn't that some of what we've been doing in the thing? I think that's just, you know, I mean, look how, I just think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Having said these things at the outset, I now dare tell you only this, that your verses do not as yet have an individual style. Yet they possess a quiet and hidden inclination to reveal something personal, which I could sense while reading your verses, but could not directly put into words. You asked me whether the poems are good. You sent them to publishers. You compared them with other poems. You are disturbed when certain publishers reject your attempts. Well, now, since you've given me permission to advise you, I suggest that you give all that up. You are looking inward. You're looking outward. And above all else, you must not do that now. No one can advise and help you now.
Then draw near to nature. Pretend you are the very first man, and then write what you see and experience, what you love and lose. Do not write love poems, at least at first. They present the greatest challenge. It requires great, fully ripened power to produce something personal, something unique, when there are so many good and sometimes even brilliant renditions in great numbers. Beware of general themes. Cling to those that your everyday life offers you. Write about your sorrows, your wishes, your passing thoughts, your belief in anything beautiful. Describe all that with fervent, quiet, and humble sincerity. In order to express yourself, use things in your surroundings, the scenes of your dreams, and the subjects of your memory. If your everyday life appears to be unworthy subject matter, do not complain to life. Complain to yourself. Lament that you are not poet enough to call up its wealth. For the creative artist there is no poverty. Nothing is insignificant or unimportant. Even if you were in a prison whose walls would shut out from your senses the sounds of the outer world, would you not then still have your childhood, this precious wealth, this treasure house of memories? Direct your attention to that. Attempt to resurrect these sunken sensations of a distant past. You will gain assuredness. Your aloneness will expand and will become, my dear friend, I know of no other advice than this. Go within and scale the depths of your being from which your very life springs forth. At its source you will find the answer to the question, what is most meaningful to me.
Yeah, I like what he said about you may go in there and you may work and work and work and you may still not be a poet. And yet you will have gained everything.
Right.
And I think as an artist, I feel like sometimes my paintings are not what I wanted them to be. And then I have this feeling of dismay. But the issue really, I think, is to go in, accept what you get, enjoy it because it came to you. And that may be all that there is, whether I like it or... Go ahead.
I wanted to show you this grid, and particularly this picture, which shows me in my backyard, just reveling in nature. There's something about that picture that really speaks to me, and I was talking earlier about remembering walking into the woods as a child, and I halfway think this picture triggered that for me. So that was one thing I wanted to show, and then another thing I wanted to show was, I didn't mark it, so I'm hoping it comes up easily. There it is. I wanted to read you this little bit that I wrote and show this picture. So I put, what great words Rebecca and I have been using together to convey just what it is in a work of art that thrills and energizes us. Talks like this, we're at the Coffee Bean, really stimulate my creativity, and my unconscious almost comes into consciousness. And that's what this picture is about. This is me, and that's my unconscious. And it's just, we're just one. And it's such a good feeling to be that closely in touch with your unconscious. So that was one of the things I wanted to show.
Thanks. 7 days. And I literally squeeze a little drawing onto the end of that one because I didn't realize it would be so busy. But I started out actually going to this movie on Monday night, Iris, which I would highly recommend.
About Iris Apfel.
Yes. You've got to
love
see
her.
that. 93 years old. She's now the it girl. And it's just one of those things. And she's so herself and so willing to be. And she has so many words of wisdom in that movie. Whether you watch it, you know, when it comes out later, not in the movies. But, and then just different things I did throughout the week. And so I managed to somehow squeeze in, you know, something that I actually love looking back at, even though it was one of those days when, you know, I don't know, this is a good less than 10 minutes for each one of the entries, and some probably less than that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Thanks.